Alright, I just got done working out, but this is my mother, and she is getting ready to head out the door as they go on a little vacation. But you guys always say that you want mature skin, and so I wanted to show you some tricks. So I gave her her own palette a little bit ago, but she wants to try a different method. And this is the method that I've been talking about a lot lately, where you do bronzer, you can contour if you choose to, but you do bronzer, and then you just put your color in just to brighten up key areas. So I was messing around with what colors she should use. If you have mascara and you decide that that isn't the color you want to use anymore, you take out the one. If your tan changes, you put in the other, and then you're ready to go. So I'm gonna show you these tricks with her really quick. So what I'm gonna do first isn't going to be a foundation color. It's going to be the bronzer. So you can see right here, if you can see, you might not be able to, she has like a little bit of hyperpigmentation, sunspots that kind of goes along here. The warmth in the bronzer is going to address that a little bit. It's not gonna conceal a ton, but now you can see how much it blends in. Okay, so now we'll step back and see an overall look that now this bronzing is just kind of warming her up. You can lightly see that she has a sunspot there, but not a ton. If you get your bronzer and you feel like you're just put on too much, just keep playing with it, because this is a cream foundation, and when you play with it, it just becomes one with the face. All right, so I'm gonna put on her bronzer first, and I'm gonna bring this along in here and a little on her nose. Okay, now if you're like, hey, wait, what about all this area? This is all gonna be white, and this is all gonna be bronzed. Also, she has bangs, but you cannot forget to do the area even where the bangs are, because if the hair ever moves, you're gonna have this bronzed face below, and then you're gonna have a nothing up above, and people are gonna be like, wait, what? So make sure, even if you have bangs, you still bronze up onto that forehead and give it that look. Always, okay, so a lot of mature skin has dry skin. Always, always, always wear sunscreen. Mother dearest, this sunscreen right here, this is a really good sunscreen, because the older you get, you need to have zinc in your sunscreen. That's super important. This has zinc, but this isn't waterproof as well. So remember that when you go to the lake, but for everyday wear, you need to have at least a 30, okay? So this baby right here. All right, now I got her bronzed up, but as you look, you're like, okay, wait, she's got this area, this area, this area. This is a little light, because everybody tends to go lighter right there, as that's the area that the sun really doesn't see. So I know it looked like super orange when I put it on, but it is all going to fade out. When you dip into this, you seriously need a teeny tiny pop, and then you're gonna be like, what did I just do? But you're just gonna work it. You're just gonna keep working it, and you're gonna warm that up. And now, look, normal, it all flows down in. Now, anytime you're like, okay, this is all white and this is all, just take whatever is left on your brush and just sweep it around. So you're bronzing up that face, warming it up. Don't forget your temples. You're warming up that look. Now, she naturally has lighter under eyes, and some people have darker under eyes. So you wanna think about that too. But what I did was, I found a color that is close to her coloring, but not too bright. Because she has drier skin, when I go in there with a super light color, because we're gonna go, can you zoom in and see this texture in her skin right here? So she's drier, and she has her wrinkles that kind of cross thread in through there. So when I put a super bright color on her all alone, when she gets movement in her face, smile. Anytime she smiles, all those light colors are gonna get stuck all along in here. Okay, don't smile. All right, so we wanna make sure the color that we put in here is really, really close to her natural color. So when we pay attention to, it's close, but it's a little lighter, that's gonna make a difference for her. So you saw me use the blusher and bronzer brush for her, for the bronzer. And again, we put it all over here. I didn't really put it in here, but make sure you get just a little bit, okay? And now this end, if you really got out of control with your bronzer, you can go and blend it out with this end. But we're now gonna take the detail hack brush. If she wanted to contour, she's gonna contour with this end, but we're using this end in this look today, the small end of the detail hack brush. What I'm gonna do is, instead of focusing on her whole under eye, she also has dry skin, you guys, so I put this pure primer on her before I started, okay? So this is gonna help hydrate all this out. I didn't get any on this side because I want you to see the difference too with being dry. Please always remember, when you don't take care of your skin properly, especially with that mature skin and how everything pulls and that dryness, you're gonna look like something is wrong with your makeup. Exfoliate weekly. And I love Cure Exfoliator, super inexpensive on Amazon, but you want to be sure that you're paying attention to the dryness, because you think it's gonna be the makeup's fault, but it's actually the dryness. And even if you're someone who's oily, you can have dry areas too, and dry patches, so never forget that. All right, so what we're gonna do is, see how the earth creates, so shadows come over, she has, her skin comes out here because she's lost that collagen, that elasticity right in here. And so that's why she feels like she has a more swollen eye, but it's just because she's lost all of that elasticity right in here. But because it comes out more, it creates a shadow right here. So I'm going to place this foundation color right along, sorry I'm shaking because I just worked out. I'm gonna place this color right in here instead of in here. The reason why is, if I place it here, this is going, the light is, can you see that light hitting there? And it's shadowing there. So if I place that brightening color right in here, it's gonna make this stand out. She doesn't want this to stand out. This is what drives her crazy. So I'm gonna place that brightening color right along here, very, very naturally. So I start with the inner corner, and then I just feather and just stipple in that color. Then with what's ever left on my brush, you can see that there's a shadow that's creating right there. What's ever left on my brush, I will put a little bit of that coloring in there, but all I'm doing is paying attention to where the earth is trying to create shadows on her face. Okay, then I'm gonna go into areas that she felt she had a little bit of redness, and you can always brighten in here just a bit. And this is where a lot of people get dry too, because if they get runny noses from allergies or anything like that, they tend to touch a lot. And so you want to brighten up that, and then I'm going to brighten up the center of her chin. A lot of people have redness there, so I'm going to brighten up the chin just a bit. And a lot of people will have redness here. You want to make sure, if your 11s are super deep and thick, that you don't go too bright with the color along in there, but you take care of that redness, because this T area, light hits that, and we do want to brighten that up and make it pretty. You can go down her nose. Even though we bronzed the nose, we can go down the center of the nose just a bit. I pinch that off instead of keep sweeping, and I kind of press it in, because our nose tends to get a lot more dry, and when our nose gets more dry, then it shows. Okay, so I'm gonna go in. So she has kind of different under eyes. They're not the same. The way that her bags are under the eye are not even, which is how most people are. Most people are not gonna have the same. If you even look on my eye, I'm darker under the eye here than I am on this side. Most people aren't the same. So don't treat your under eye exactly the same, because they're not. The more you try and even it out with your makeup, the more it seems off, because your makeup, your face only needs color in specific areas, okay? So here, I'm gonna look, she has sun damage right here. She has a shadow on this inner corner. And then I come onto that sun damage that's right on her wrinkle, and then finishing out right in here. Okay? And then all I'm doing now is blending out, like kind of like tapping out what I did. I'm not putting it all over her under eye. I'm just tapping out what I did. And then I look to see how I've lined things up. Sorry, my lighting. See the lighting there. So this right here, I went down a little too low. I'm gonna press that in. And when I press this, it kind of lifts it up off of it just a bit. So I'm just pressing with my finger. Your finger actually does a lot more than you think. Always have clean hands, you guys. That's super important. I just freshly washed my hands. Clean brushes before I did her face. clean makeup before I did her face. But just by using your fingers sometimes and pressing that in, even with dry skin, this helps a ton because it helps that tackiness between finger and skin to really press in to those areas. In fact, I like it sometimes even better than a sponge. You can use a sponge or you can use your finger. Okay, now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add her blush. She does really, really well with warm tones. So I'm gonna just pop on a little bit of that blush to warm up her look, even though we already did bronzer. My mom loves, loves, loves warm tones. Brown and orange is her favorite color. Okay, and then she is a very low maintenance person. So I got a lip gloss in here. I'll let you do the lip gloss. You want more than that. Just so we're pulling in that warmth. We're not just leaving it alone. And this was a super easy palette for her that is just really, really easy. So now you didn't put makeup on your whole entire face. I mean, you kind of sort of did with bronzer, but it's so light. Feel that. Does that feel like anything?
Oh, nothing.
Touch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it feel like you have makeup on your face?
No, I can't feel. No, nothing.
Okay. All right. So, do you see? Can you see yourself in that mirror?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, looks good. Yeah.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we just brightened up that. I'm gonna try and camouflage these sunspots just a bit. Now, one other mistake that people make is they're very hard on themselves. They're so hard on themselves with sunspots and things like that. We can work with sunspots. This is a makeup application method that it's not full coverage. It's a very light-handed makeup, just paying like super, super minimal, because that's what she wants. She's an outdoor person, she rides horses, she doesn't take a lot of time with her makeup. This is something she could easily master in like 2 minutes. So that's what we did here. I hope that helps you get a little more help with your mature skin. You can see what we did. We just made sure that we went into that key area, focused on where the light is casting a shadow, focus on that instead of the whole under eye, and I hope you love it. Thanks you guys, take care, bye.